Welcome to the first episode of the Am I podcast. Today we're going to be talking about am I in a healthy relationship, okay? I feel like society nowadays has completely shifted what a healthy relationship really is, like strongly, and I have strong opinions on it. I understand that society nowadays has changed, so like it's harder to trust people because of how easy it is for people to do things that would make you not trust them. But at the same time, if everybody just like chilled out a little bit, I think that would make relationships more healthy. So I'm going to be talking about some like big categories and I'm going to explain. So, for one, jumping into it. This is a big one for me. Fighting in a relationship. Like, I feel like people fight so much in relationships and it doesn't need to happen. I feel like people can answer or solve 90% of the problem by literally just having a conversation. Like fighting and yelling and everything like that. Like actually fighting, it's not necessary. Like it doesn't need to happen. Something that's a big point for me is you should be able to have time away from your significant other without fighting. And this, I know everybody can relate to this because it's so common. At least in one relationship, maybe not the one you're in, but you can look back at least to a relationship or look forward into like some potential relationship and understand this. So I'm gonna say it like super basic in a way that everybody can relate to. Like when you're at a sleepover and your significant other is texting you just mad for no reason. Like you did nothing wrong, nothing's going on, they're just mad at you for being away. I literally cannot stand this. Like it makes me crazy. Especially as I get older, because when you're younger, you're just like, you feel bad, and you want to fix everything that's going on, and you're like, oh, why are they mad? And then you just take away from their time with your friend, and it's actually such a big deal. Like, it actually is, because why is that happening? That's not necessary at all. Even not at a sleepover, just say in general, like, say that me and said person, we're gonna name my fake boyfriend Jeremy, okay? So, say me and Jeremy are having a great day. We hang out, everything is literally fine. We come home, like we leave each other, I get dropped off, literally fighting. What? I actually can't. Like, why is that happening? That should not be happening. That is not healthy, and it's not okay. In my opinion, the concept and like phrase of when we're not together, we're fighting, but when we're together, we're fine, does not exist. Like, that doesn't make sense. It's not a thing. And if you're saying that, you need to stop and reanalyze, because that's never an excuse. Like, that's so dumb, and how is that healthy? Like, think about it. Like, how is that healthy? Especially, this is not even in any way, literally in any way, but especially if you're just home. Like, if you're out doing something, I still think that's wrong, but if you're home and doing nothing, what is there to fight about? We just had a great day. Why are we fighting? I don't understand. Or if you completely flip the situation and it's more of a, if we're in person, we're fighting, and when we're away, we're not fighting. What? Like, that does not make any sense to me, literally at all, because how do you expect, if that's you, like, how do you expect a future with that person? Literally. Like, what are you dating for? Genuinely, what are you dating for? Like, that's like talking stage behavior. So, if anything, that's even pushing it in my opinion. But, if that is the case, and you guys are fighting when you're together and fine when you're apart, break up. Literally break up. Or, have a really, really important conversation about it. And if nothing changes, then we need to, like, regroup, because that's rough. Okay, moving on. In my opinion, your significant other should never, literally ever, be fighting with you. There is maybe one situation where like a yelling would be okay, and that's if you get caught like cheating, or something that's like genuinely so disrespectful to the point where you will break up because of it. If you guys are just in an argument or in a disagreement or something, we should not be yelling. Why are we yelling? There's no reason to do this. If something's bothering you and there's even a small chance that you guys are gonna stay together after it happening, why are we yelling at each other? Let's just talk. There's no reason. I stand on it. There's zero reason. If your partner is storming off on you, like as well, I cannot. That is what you do when you're, I don't know, maybe 11 and younger. Like, why are we doing that? It's not okay. If your partner needs to step aside and maybe cool down, that's a little bit different, but it also should be handled in a way where it's clear that that's what they're doing. They're like, okay, wait, give me a second, let me cool down and we can talk in. That's different. If they're just like, it just storms away, it's so awkward because it's like, now the whole concept of the argument is not being taken into account, and now you're just thinking about the fact that they stormed off, and now you're just mad at them for storming off, and it's like, what? Especially if one of you is more mature than the other, because then it's like, that's when that would happen. If you're both immature and storming off on each other, you both need to do some self-reflection and walk in. But that's my opinion. If you are yelling in that way, then I don't know. Like, that's just not. Okay, something else that's super important in a healthy relationship is humbling yourself when you guys are in public and mad at each other. So if one of you say something or maybe do something that's maybe a little bit of a deal, maybe a big deal, doesn't necessarily matter. My opinion, what you should 100% do in those cases is wait until you're not with your group, or pull your partner outside of the group and have a quick conversation. If it's urgent and it's like eating you alive, then I would say do that. But if it can wait, let it wait. Because if you guys start fighting about something in front of your friends or in your group or your family, especially your family, that's a whole nother thing, but with your friends specifically, it just makes your guys' relationship look bad. And it doesn't give healthy. It's awkward for all your friends around you too, because then they're looking at your relationship and they're like, oh, this is awkward. Why am I here for this? And it's like, it gives them a bad look on your guys' relationship. Like, you don't want your friends to think that your relationship is bad. Nobody does. So if that's what's happening with your significant other and you guys are fighting in front of your friends, then like we need to fix that, because it's not healthy at all. Circling back to the like yelling at each other, if you guys are arguing, fighting, texting, calling, in person, doesn't matter, we shouldn't be cussing at each other. And I was in a relationship where we never ever cussed, and it de-escalated the situation by so much. And especially texting too, it's like good to even practice while you're texting, because you can read what you're saying. You can still like censor it with like another word to like get your point across, but if you don't actually say the cuss word, it de-escalates your guys' situation by so much, and nobody's feelings are being personally attacked in your argument. You know what I mean? Because if you were like, oh, you bleep bleep bleep, like it's gonna be like, whoa, like chill. But if it's more of like a conversation and less like aggressive wording, it actually changes the situation so much. So I would recommend that if that's you and you guys are in an argument or a disagreement, then to not use cuss words, at least maybe like one cuss word in like the whole argument. You know, like limit yourself, maybe sprinkle one. But, you know, and name calling too is just not okay. Like that's even a different thing than the cussing, because cussing is being like, oh, like I can't believe that you bleep did this, you know what I mean? But if it's like you're a bleep, then I don't know. It's just not necessary. And why are we doing that? Like, let's grow up and have conversations. How many actual good, effective conversations do you hear about that were you guys like calling each other names? Especially if it's not a big deal. Like, not cheating or anything like that. Like, especially if it's something that's small. Like, oh, you forgot to take the trash out. You're a bleep. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, can we not? Like, why? I can see how it can be frustrating over time if they don't listen, and then you kind of feel the need to, like, you know, say that. Like, I don't really agree with that still. I think, like, a different conversation needs to be had. But, I don't know. That's my opinion on that. Okay, on to the next big topic. Effectively communicating. So, society nowadays has normalized telling your significant other every single thing you do and every single place you go to. Now, I don't think that this is necessarily a bad thing. I think that it can be, though, because, for one, on a side topic, if you're long distance, I do think that you should be giving updates, but I think they should be healthy. Like, I think it should be because you want to. You can text your long distance partner and be like, hey, I'm going to Wawa, and then I'm going to go to Target. Okay, cool, because they're going to be like, nice. I think even in short distance, if you want to text your partner that and tell them, I think that's fine too. I don't think that you telling your partner every single thing that you're doing is a bad thing, especially if you're dating. Maybe if you're talking, it might be doing a little too much, but if you guys are dating, I don't think it's that big of a deal. Now, if it becomes, especially with short distance, long distance is a little different, but with short distance, if your partner is getting mad at you because you're not telling them that you went to Publix, I don't know. Like, that's just, in my opinion, this is obviously all my opinion, but I don't think that's okay. I don't think that's healthy either. It's not that big of a deal. Plus, at the end of the day, you're going to be telling your partner what you did anyways. So, I mean, just tell them then. And if they're like, you didn't tell me you went to Publix, okay? Like, I don't know. Like, that's just immature to me. Like, I don't know why that's such a big deal. I feel like if your partner is getting mad at you, I think that really just stems from having trust issues. And I have different opinions on trust issues that I can get into later. But, I mean, like, I don't know. If this is like a reoccurring thing, then that's kind of a bad sign. So you might want to, like, reanalyze your relationship. But, I mean, if it's happening, like, once or twice at the beginning, you know, we can work past it. But I don't know. I do think also, though, to take into account with that, is if you're with your friends and you're going to go somewhere, like somewhere big, then you could be like, hey, me and blank are going to go to the mall. I feel like that might be a little bit more, like, normal. And then if they get mad at you and tell them, like, maybe that's a little bit more valid. Again, I don't think they should be getting, like, mad at you and, like, yelling at you. But if they're like, whoa, like, updates, day updates, like, you know, like, that kind of makes sense, in my opinion. But if you go to the mall, then you go to Chick-fil-A, and then you come back home, and then you didn't tell them you went to Chick-fil-A, like, that's not that big of a deal. I don't know, like, whatever. Okay, so my final point for the effectively communicating is, if you're feeling a certain way about something, your partner should humble themselves to see your point. So by that, I mean, if something is a big deal to them, it should be a big deal to you. If, oh, like, I want you to be on time more, but you being 5 minutes late wasn't that big of a deal, but, like, for me, I'm mad that you're late, like, you should change that so that you will be on time because I would like that, because it's a big deal to me. You know what I mean? Like, something like that. So I think in those kinds of situations, your partner should humble themselves and do something good for you, something that you would like. And I think for this to actually be super healthy is, for the example of being late, your partner should be like, you know what, actually, I can see how that made you upset, I'm sorry, and then move on. Like, that, I don't know, like, they shouldn't be like, well, why does it matter that I was late? Why does it matter? Like, first of all, it's not that big of a deal, so we should be having an argument in general. Secondly, it's important to me, so it should be important to you. Like, things like that, like, I don't know, that's my opinion. Moving on. So, getting into the physical aspect of a relationship. These are my opinions. So, I don't think that a healthy relationship with love should be focused on the physical. So, if your relationship is not thriving without lust, then it's not love, right? Like, if you can't go a week without doing physical things with your partner and it being a huge issue, like, that's my opinion. I don't think it's, I'm not saying that you shouldn't necessarily have those moments with your partner, but I think that you should be able to go without it. Because if you actually love somebody, like, love is not physical in my opinion. I think that there's physical aspects that can contribute to love, but I don't think you need it to have a healthy and loving relationship. Anyways, that's my opinion with that. I'm just going to keep it short. That's my biggest opinion on physical aspects of a relationship, so, yeah. Okay, so moving on, we're going to talk about motivation and that part of your relationship. You and your partner should constantly be pushing each other to become better people. This applies to all ages, because you can, at every age, you can become a better version of yourself at every single age. So if you're probably 12, or both listening to this, you know what I mean, if you're younger, you're not listening, but If you're of that age, whoever you're dating, you guys can constantly help each other be better. I think, in my opinion, when somebody asks you, oh, why do you love said partner, one of your clear answers should be, because they motivate me to become a better person. I think that that's extremely important, especially as I get older and I go through more relationships. I've been through a couple of relationships in my time. I'm 19. So I've experienced healthy relationships, I've experienced non-healthy relationships, short relationships, long ones, literally everything. So I kind of have a little bit of knowledge with this, and I think that constantly pushing each other to become better people is something that always is healthy in a relationship. So this would include going to like the gym or eating or how you are on your family or inspiring you to be more active and creative and everything like that. Literally everything under the sun. Everything. There's constantly ways to inspire people to be better. For example, this is something that's small, but it's something that's like inspired me to become better. I was talking to somebody recently and they were talking to me about music. Now, I listen to music, but I'm one of those people who listen to the same 40 songs on repeat, because initially I didn't like listening to music that I didn't know the words to. And I know that's stupid, but it's fun for me to like sing or rap music that I know the words to. Listening to music that I didn't know the words to was kind of like boring for me, and I was like, this is a nice beat, but like I'm not vibing. However, I was having a conversation the other day with somebody, and they were inspiring me to listen to more music and expand my music taste. My music was so limited to the point where those like trending sounds on TikTok that would come with albums, I would know that song from TikTok and that's it. I'd be like, wait, there's an album to this song? I had no idea because I didn't care. But I think listening to music is such a great creative outlet, and it can inspire people to do so much of themselves, and it's fun because I've been around so many more people since I've been doing that who I've been able to relate to and connect with because I've listened to the kind of music that they like. So, for example, I've been listening to Eminem forever, but I've only been listening to like his few popular songs. Recently, I went through all of his albums, and I was talking to my parents, his friends, and I was like, yeah, today I went through all of the early Eminem albums, and they were like, what? And it was great because they're older and that's like more of their time, and it was fun for me to be able to relate to them and tell them what songs I liked and everything like that. So, all that to be said, I think that pushing each other in small ways like that, or just how to be a better boyfriend and girlfriend, etc., is good, and I think that's extremely healthy for a relationship. Okay, this might sound a little crazy because it's kind of abnormal, and people, in my opinion, I feel like wouldn't tend to do this because they would fear either getting yelled at, so to speak, or misunderstood. But in the category of motivating each other, I think that it's also important to call out your significant other if they're acting on their issues mentally. So like their trust issues, their commitment issues, or something like that. I think that if that's clearly the case in this situation, you should be like, hey, I think that maybe your blank issues are coming out, or you're acting a certain way because of this. If your partner is getting mad at you and like getting really like pressed because of that and you saying that, I don't think that's healthy. I think that if your partner really wants to grow, especially with you, they should be willing to these kinds of things. And it's uncomfortable to get called out for your mental health issues, but if you're actually looking for your relationship to blossom, you can't have, for example, trust issues throughout the whole thing. Like, you have to work on it. And for that person to work on it, the person telling them that they need to work on it needs to be understanding as well. Don't get mad at them when they're having trust issues or anger issues, something like that. But you need to call them out and understand. If you're constantly calling them out and they're not changing or they keep getting mad, you might need to address your relationship because that's not healthy. But that's my opinion. I think that you should be doing that. I think that you should be calling them out for it and be like, no, I didn't do anything wrong, and I think it's because of this. And you don't need to say it in a mean way or in a yelling way or in like, aha, I solved the case way. But you should. I think you should. I think that's healthy. And it will benefit your relationship in the end. Because if you're telling them and they're like, you know what, I think you're right. First of all, you feel great because you're like, wait, maybe this is going to be okay. Like, this relationship actually is going to work. And, you know, like, you feel good. Because if it's happening, it's not going to make you happy. Like, clearly not. If you didn't do anything wrong and they're getting mad at you because they're trust issues, but you didn't do anything, like, that's going to make you sad. But if you tell them and they take accountability and they're like, oh, okay, that makes sense, and they work on it, your relationship is going to keep growing. In order for a relationship to keep growing is going through conflicts and working through them together. Because that's when you actually look back and you're like, wow, we've been through so much, and it's really helped us become who we are today. It also helps you with your communication. So in the end, if that relationship doesn't work out, you know how to act in your next relationship, and you know what the standard is in your next relationship. So if the person you're talking to about their issues is accepting of it and understanding, but you guys are not working out, and then the next person, if they have issues and they're not understanding, you're like, you know what? I know that people can change, and you're not changing, and I'm not here for that. That's the kind of business I'd be standing on. So I would recommend to tell your partner and call them out if they're acting in that way. If they're not listening for advice or they just want to be mad, you're in a toxic relationship and you need to get out. So moving on to the next topic is forgiveness. I am so big on forgiveness. I think it was the way that I've been raised, because every single time that I've been through some kind of conversation with my parents, especially my mom, she's always been like, quote, be quick to forgive. And that actually is like one of the biggest things that stuck with me for a long time, because being quick to forgive, first of all, is great for the other person, because then it makes them feel like, okay, like this conversation, you know, it was important, but it's over now and blah, blah, blah. But for yourself, it gives you so much ease at mind because you forgave them. Like, if you actually are quick to forgive, it's over. You know what I mean? Like, it happened. It's life. It happened. If you're slow to forgive, you just dwell on it and it's sad and you're unhappy about the situation. With that being said, obviously, we know that it's healthy to forgive your partner. That's nothing new. But I want to talk about post-forgiveness. I think that you should be, like I said, quick to forgive. So after you guys' argument, you guys have a conversation, not yelling. You guys have a conversation, and then it's over. And you're like, that's it. Like, the conversation is over. There's nothing else to talk about. You guys understand each other's points. You already came to a agreement on how you're going to fix it. And everything's over. Actually forgive your partner. You should not be staying mad at them for a long period of time. Like, maybe after, like, a big disagreement, you guys might need, like, a couple minutes to, you know, like, cool down, step aside from each other. Like, you don't need to, like, get all, like, close again as if it didn't happen. But it's over. So, like, let it be over. Imagine how strong your relationship would be if you actually chose to, like, forgive and forget in a way. Maybe not forget, but kind of. Forgive and forget. You know, like, I don't know. Like, I've been through conversations where we're quick to forgive, and then I can see the aftermath of that. And then when we're slow to forgive, or somebody else is slow to forgive, and the aftermath of that. And obviously, when you're quick to forgive, that one is so much better, because I find it so annoying when a conversation is had and that person's still mad at you. It's like, why are we mad, bro? Like, it happened and we talked about it. We had a whole conversation about it. Why are we still mad? It's annoying and it doesn't need to happen. I think that it's petty and it's just ridiculous. Moving on, I also think that you should not bring up past fights if they're already resolved. I know that everybody does this that's in a toxic relationship. And it's so toxic. It's like one of those things that doesn't feel toxic right away, but it does, especially if you're just jabbing and you're not even trying to have a conversation about it again. If it's like, oh yeah, because you talked to so-and-so, and you guys are like at the beach, it's like, what? Why are we bringing that up? Like, it kills the vibe, first of all, and then it's like, it kind of is disrespectful. I think it's actually very disrespectful. And it's like, we already had a conversation about it. Obviously, we disagreed at the time. That happened a month ago. Why are we still talking about it? It's so annoying, and I don't think it needs to happen. On the other hand, I feel like if you're seeing a big pattern on what somebody's doing, then it might be okay to bring up a small fight that you guys had. For example, if this is a huge example, this is very dramatic, but say your partner cheated on you and you guys were like, you know what, we can make this work, let's just forget it. Huge example, I know, but let's just say. And you notice that your partner is still talking to girls in like a weird way and still seeing girls, like, I don't know. Then it's okay to bring up a past fight. Be like, hey, remember this fight? And remember what happened last time? Is this happening again? We talked about this. You said you were going to fix it. I think that that's a good time to bring up a past fight. Only if it directly ties into a situation that's still happening. A smaller example of that is, like I said earlier in a different category, is being on time. If you guys had an initial fight about being on time, and then you notice that they're never on time, then you can tie back to them being late the first time. Like, remember when we had the fight, the long argument about you being on time? I think that that is a good time to bring up a past fight. Any other time that doesn't directly tie is genuinely not okay, and it's so unhealthy, and it's so annoying, because, like, I don't understand. I don't know why that's happening, especially if there's nothing even correlating to it. Like how I said, if we're just walking on the beach, like, oh, look at these shells. Oh, remember when you blank? I'm sorry. Hello? Like, and it just, like, makes the other person feel bad, especially if it was their fault. Like, I don't know. It's just like stupid to me, and I don't understand why it happens, and I think it's super toxic, and I think that healthy relationships can do better. I don't think that needs to be happening. Another thing that's super healthy in a relationship is doing things because you want to. I think that you and your partner should constantly be finding ways to, like, almost outlove each other and doing things because you want to deep down. I think doing things because you want to is a huge part to a relationship. If your partner is doing things based off of force and they're buying you flowers because they know that they have to, quote unquote, side eye. Because what do you mean you have to? You don't have to, but that will show me everything I need to know. You guys need to be doing stuff because you want to. I think if you're doing things because you feel like you have to, you don't actually love that person, and I don't think that's healthy. I think that, I don't also only think that it's buying stuff. I think it's like, oh, like, you picked this up after me when I dropped it, or, oh, like, you know that I get nervous in these situations or anxious in these situations, and you decided to step away from the situation and take care of me. That's because they want to. You know what I mean? Not because they have to. So I think that first you should determine in your relationship what your partner is doing because they want to or what they have to do. And I think that once you start focusing on that, I think it'll be clear. It'll be really clear if your partner's doing something because they want to or because they have to. I have this story that I want to share. It's about doing things because you want to versus because you feel like you have to. So there were these two people. This is not about me. These are like friends of friends. There was two people, and the guy got the girl a promise ring because she said that she wanted one, and he saw that it was a trend, so they were like, yeah. And he got her a promise ring because it was a trend. And I don't know if she also wanted it because it was a trend, but it was weird on both ends. So that is an example of what you should not do, because it's actually just crazy. But, yeah, doing things because you want to is good. Also, something I want to add is if you don't want to do something in your relationship, you don't have to. But you should not be in that relationship. So if you're like, you know what, like, it's his birthday, but I don't want to get him something, or it's his thing, but I don't want to go, you don't have to go. But let's not hide that, and let's say that, oh, we should probably break up. You should want to do something in a healthy relationship. If you don't want to do it, there's probably some kind of toxic aspect to it. Maybe they did something that you didn't like, so it's making you not want to do something for them. But that's not healthy either, so That's my opinion on that. Okay, this isn't directly tied into a healthy relationship, but it kind of is. I just thought about it and I thought it would be like interesting to add. I came to the conclusion that if you actually love somebody, meaning that you're in a healthy relationship, maybe, I don't know, you can definitely love somebody in a toxic relationship for sure. But if you genuinely love somebody, is more what I'm getting at with this, you will not get the actual ick. I realized that in my life. I've been like, oh, that's not, and I've gotten the ick, even with talking stages. But when I actually love somebody, I realize I'm like, you cannot do one weird or embarrassing thing, and I'm gonna actually get the ick from it. That's actually genuinely my opinion. And maybe you've experienced something else, but that's what I've experienced, and I think that that's really interesting. Another point that I have with the topic of being embarrassed is you and your significant other should not try to embarrass each other in public. And let me tell you something. There's a little bit of wiggle room here, because if you guys are like a playful couple and you guys are like trying to embarrass each other like for fun and like jokes, that's totally fine. I think that that's fine, and that is healthy too, because if that's how you guys are, then that's like cute, and I can see that can be fun. But it's different if you're embarrassing them in like a, oh, I'm yelling in public and that's gonna embarrass you, or if it's like a, you kind of like shit today, like, whoa. First of all, that's embarrassing in general. Second of all, if we were in a group and that were to happen, personally, yeah, that's, they just gotta tally 3 strikes and you're out, because it's not about what they said, it's just the fact that they're trying to embarrass you in public. I'm one of those people who really don't care what people think about me or like what they say. I don't care. I literally don't. If you could tell me over and over and over again that I'm like chopped, and I'd be like, okay, cool. I don't care. Like, I do not care about other people's opinions. But this is more of the concept, whether you're like that or not, this is the concept of respect and caring for somebody, and to not embarrass them in that way. I don't think that that's okay. And I think if your significant other does something that's kind of weird in general, or like if they, I don't know, maybe they say something that's like kind of unfunny in a group setting, I think maybe a little like side eye, or like something like really that's just not funny at all, and it's like a little like, like that can be okay, it can slide. But if you're like, yeah, that was not, don't do that ever again, like trying to like make them feel a little uncomfortable, we should not be doing that. I think that that's putting your significant other down, and there's no need for that. I don't know why we're doing that in a relationship where we're supposed to be supporting each other. I don't know. You can like kind of read the room and tell with your partner, like if it's a joke, if it's not. Obviously there's situations where like even doing that could be kind of funny in a relationship. That's fine. But I think in the grand scheme of things, most people don't like that, and that doesn't really work in most relationships, especially if you're like even a little bit of an anxious person and you have any fear of saying something in front of other people. Imagine if you were just like, okay, being an anxious person, not me, but like said person, being an anxious person and your partner doing that to you in front of people, I could only imagine that would probably make you think about it, first of all, for the next week, and then just like kind of make you not want to say anything literally ever again. So I would definitely recommend not doing that kind of stuff in front of groups or something like that. It's definitely more of a targeted on, oh, if you do something, to not like make them feel embarrassed after saying it, or if you see something that's like a little like sus or like a little weird, like just move past it. Be like, yeah, you know what, you did say, like embrace your partner's weirdness. Like, I don't know, even if it's a little awkward, you guys can talk about the next day, or like not the next day, but like the next time you're alone, and be like, hey, like that was low-key a little strange, and they'd be like, oh, okay, you know what I mean? Like you can like kind of tell them a little bit afterwards than making them feel awkward about it in person. I don't know, I think you guys understand where I'm getting at here, so I'm gonna move on. Okay, so on to the next category is trust. I'm not gonna talk too much about this because there's a lot of different ways to go, but something I want to specifically talk about is going through each other's phones. I don't think that going through each other's phones is healthy. I think that it's an excuse to be toxic, and I think that it's so normalized nowadays, and I'm not falling for that propaganda. Like, absolutely not. There's no reason for it. you should trust your partner. Going through each other's phones for no reason, or like just because you want to, shows trust issues and shows you don't trust your partner. It kind of makes me like mad when that happens, because it's like, you can't have your own, it's your phone. Like, I don't understand. If you guys have to go through each other's phones, you guys should not be in a relationship. Like, clearly the other person is not committed to you, they're not loyal, blah, blah, blah. If you're actually doing that for reasons, and you're like, okay, but when I do go through their phone, there's something in there. Break up, bro. Like, or like, at least have a conversation about it, and if it doesn't change, then break up. It's ridiculous, and it's not healthy, and it should not be happening in relationships. I think it sets relationships back so much, because even when you're not doing anything wrong, I believe that people will find anything in your phone just so they can be like, yeah, I found this little thing, I went through your phone, I wouldn't have found this if I didn't go through your phone, and that's the reason for them to keep going through your phone, even though what they actually found was nothing, literally nothing. Like, say you have a note, like a little note, and it's like, I feel weird today, and they'd be like, oh, why didn't you tell me you felt weird? Like, I don't know, I feel like there could be so many little things that people can twist and make into something that it's not, and I don't think that's necessary at all. Now, if you're, say you're a girl, and your boyfriend's friends or your friends like, yo, I low-key saw him texting this girl, and they were saying some interesting stuff. You should look through that. I don't think that is incredibly wrong. I think that's a little like, actually, no, I think that's actually valid. I'm going to stand on business here, because I think that is kind of valid. If somebody is saying that, and that they saw something, that is a valid reason to go through their phone. But that's it. Like, I don't know. That's my opinion. I went through a long relationship without going through each other's phones, and I feel like that was good. It was fine. I didn't cheat. He didn't cheat, at least as far as I know. And I don't know. Like, it's just not necessary, and it kind of is just like, you don't trust me? Like, I don't know. It's upsetting, especially if you're super trustworthy. It's like, why don't you trust? And then it's like diminishing on your own character. I don't know. That's what I don't like. But if you, something else that we can also get into as well is, this is what I'm thinking about this on the spot. Like, if your person cheated in the past, or something bad happened in the past, if they should be able to go through your phone then, if there's like an actual reason to, I still kind of feel like no, but cheating is also a big thing. So like, I don't know, I feel like if you can really tell about their character that they really stopped doing that or something like that, I don't think that you should be going through their phone in that case. If they're still acting a little weird or like mysterious or still talking to people, I think like then it becomes a little bit more normal to more frequently go through their phone. But I also don't know, because you forgave them when they cheated on you at the time, so forgive them and don't go through their phone. I don't know, because then it kind of shows that you didn't really forgive them anyways. I don't know. That's let me know your opinions on that, because I don't know. That's my opinion. Okay, so that's all I have with trust. I'm gonna move on. Okay, I don't know if this is a hot take or not. I've never ever heard anybody say this before. So we all know the love languages. I believe that your significant other, guy or girl, should be giving you all 5. I think that you should be getting words of affirmation. I think that you should be getting physical touch. I think that you should be getting good quality time. I think you should be receiving acts of service, and that you should be receiving gifts of some sort. It doesn't have to be expensive. It doesn't have to be money at all. Some kind of thoughtful gift, like, oh, I picked this flower off the side of the road, or, oh, I saw that you like this, so like, I don't know, like, it can be $1 at the Dollar Tree, like something. It doesn't have to be expensive, literally at all. But I think that all of these things need to be done. Constantly be saying, like, some kinds of affirmation, some kind of I love you, some kind of you look really pretty, you look really handsome today, or anything like that. I think you guys should be spending time together. Depending on your relationship, it varies, but you guys definitely should be spending quality time together. Transitioning from quality time, regardless on anything, is you and your significant other should be out doing things. And I know this topic you don't think would apply to you if you were an introvert, but this is exactly why this applies to you. Because even if you're an introvert, you and your partner should be going out still and doing things. It's not a valid or healthy excuse to say, well, I'm an introvert, like that's why we don't go out and do stuff. You can do things with your partner that are introverted, that you don't have to go talk to people for. You can go on a picnic, or you can go to a museum where nobody's going to talk to you, or anything like that. You don't have to be extroverted to go out and do stuff with your partner. Staying at home and watching a movie or having a little date night in the house, that's great. Totally fine. Good for extroverts, introverts. Both should be doing it. Both can be doing it. That's fine. However, I think regardless, a date, like say your date was outside watching a movie or doing something like that, you can do it, but go somewhere and do it. You don't want, I've experienced this back in my middle school days. I had this boyfriend, I don't know, we only stayed at my house. And we were younger, we couldn't drive, so there was that. But we never really went out of our way to ask our parents to take us somewhere or to go on walks or anything like that. We were always in the house. And we did it for like a little bit less than a year, but I remember being in the house and after we broke up and I was like, I don't even want to live here anymore. And you don't want that. And people that I know right now are still going through that. I have a friend who, her and her boyfriend broke up, and she doesn't even want to be in her room anymore because she feels so connected to the memories that she had in that room because the majority of the time they spent together was inside. So if you go out and go to multiple places, it just makes you feel so much better in every way, and worst case scenario, you guys break up, you won't be traumatized of your own house. On another note, I think that going out and doing things is super, super good because if, say you guys are in a museum, somewhere where you don't have to communicate with other people, but you guys are together and you see somebody else do something that's kind of like funny or weird, then you guys have a memory. And that kind of memory you wouldn't have if you were looking at stuff at home. You wouldn't have that because there aren't any other people for you guys to get that memory from. Extroverts, I feel like, don't really have a problem with this. I think that most extroverts, especially if there's two in a relationship, they want to go out all the time. So this doesn't really, this applies to you, but like, for example, for me, if I were to just stay at home at this point in my life with whoever I was dating for long periods of time, that would not feel right for me. I think that if you're in a relationship, especially if you're an introvert and this is hard for you, then you should 100% be going out at least once a week. At least once a week. You need to make it a priority to do it once a week. Maybe it could be like a cute little thing. Oh, it's Tuesday, we're going to go out to dinner. Or, oh, it's Wednesday, we're going to go out to the park. Like, I don't know, just something. It doesn't have to be the same day, but if that makes it more fun and exciting, then make it the same day. It's very important in a relationship. Find things that you guys like to do together. If you guys like to go do sports, then go play sports together. There's so many sports that you don't actually need a full team for. For example, volleyball. I played volleyball for a long time. You can go play volleyball with your partner. If you want to go play pickleball, pickleball is such a great sport because people of all sizes, backgrounds, interests, I feel like all collectively like pickleball. Also kind of similar to volleyball too, but more pickleball because I feel like the pickleball community is so welcoming. So if you're struggling with finding things to do and you kind of want to be active, do pickleball, go running. Running is a great activity. I'm not a runner. I don't like it. I hate it. But so many people love it, and I can see how it can be so bonding in a relationship. So do it. Make that happen. That is all I have to say for my Are You in a Healthy Relationship. I think that everything that I said definitely ties into having a healthy relationship. There are so many more things to say that make relationships healthy, so many more things to say. There are so many more things to say that make relationships unhealthy, but that's all I'm going to say for today. I might make a part 2, who knows. But thank you so much for listening. I'm so excited to keep doing this series with you guys. This is my first episode. If you have any comments or you want to ask me a certain question, I am at the Am I Podcast on all socials, YouTube, Spotify, TikTok, Instagram, literally everything. So DM me, follow those accounts, And thanks so much for listening. Can't wait to have you guys on the next episode.